Welcome, time for some art fun. Today, my floofy friends, we're goofing off, so stick around. If you've been around this channel for a while, you know that I've done just a couple of art supply hauls, not too many. I've done a giant art haul, I've done a huge art haul, I've done an affordable art haul, I've done a no budget shopping spree art haul. I've kind of gone completely insane. And it's super fun. Trust me, I love art supplies. I get so much joy out of them, as you well know. But I also do want to start using them up. And I've been trying to commit to using up certain art supplies. And you'll be seeing in the most recent videos a very clear theme along those lines. And the two that I've been focusing on with just a laser focus are the Turner acrylic gouache here on the left and the flash paints up above just out of frame. And as part of that project, I've been doing just video after video showing you how I'm trying to use those up. And as I sit here today, I have used up the flash paints, all but the black tube. You'll still be seeing them in the next, several videos or the last several videos, even though I've used them up at the time of this voiceover, because my voiceovers and my release of the footage are, long following my recording of the actual footage. So this painting in my sketchbook, mostly with the Turner acrylic gouache and the flash paints, was from, I think over a week and a half ago at this point. And I know I don't normally do landscapes for you all, and I wasn't actually planning on showing this. I always record just in case, and sometimes I don't show what I record. I was not planning on showing you this, even though I really like how it came out. I don't think this is what you're used to seeing from me, and that's really the only reason I didn't plan on showing it to you. But my husband really liked it, and he said, I think this counts as a cute landscape, and you've mentioned the concept of cute landscapes before, and maybe the people deserve to see it. So here it is. And part of the freedom of deciding you want to use up a whole art supply is that you don't feel precious about how much you're using. You don't worry about, did I sploop out too much onto my palette and it's going to dry, because this is all acrylic or vinyl. Vinyl paint, the flash paints are vinyl, and it's the same as acrylic as far as how it dries matte and dries quickly on your palette. You have to spray it and maybe use some retarder. I use Golden brand retarder to keep the acrylic alive on my palette a little longer. But still, if you overestimated how much you were going to need and you leave it on your palette, it will dry by the next session. And the reason I picked these two is because if you've watched any of those hauls, you know that I've sort of gotten completely obsessed with acrylic as a medium, matte acrylic in particular. So acrylic gouache, acrylic gouache, acryl gouache, these are all the same thing. Blick matte acrylics, I got like 50 million bottles of that, and I love them in so many convenience colors. But I feel like I want to use up some of my paints before I move on to those. So they're just sitting there staring at me, my Holbein, my Liquitex, my Blick. It's all just sitting there staring at me saying, use up something before you come over here. Use something up, your art studio is getting completely crazy and overwhelmed. So I just want to start using stuff, and frankly, it has really been helping my practice. I already am pretty prolific. I paint every single day, or at least draw every single day. And so I do make a lot of art, but having it in my mind that I sort of have a mission of make enough art that you use this up and it is moved on out of the studio, making room for using something else until and unless you miss this material and want to bring it back in later. There's something about that that just has me painting up a stinking storm, people. Like, I don't even know what's going on. This thing was so much fun to paint. I felt like it had a lot of depth, but the whole time I was painting, I was just having fun. I wasn't thinking about, is this going to be Instagrammable? Are people going to say, I want to paint that, I want to learn from this person? No, I actually thought, this is not my best work. I could have done this, that, and the other thing a whole lot better. Should have picked a different color here or there. Not at this stage. I actually love it at this stage, but when I filled in the land masses, that was one of the most fun moments of this whole painting, which you'll see I gave you some really delicious close-ups of that. Puppy time intervening. Isn't he so cute? I love how Shih Tzus do that with their heads. But anyways, if you're in my studio, my dogs are there. I thought I should share that with you. But I loaded up my brush when I filled in those land masses in the front that are still yellow from the base layer of flash paint. And I just think, even though in the reference picture they did look like a deep green, I wish I'd done something else. I wish I'd stayed in the purple, yellow, and orange and pink family for those. So in my recent woohoo art confidence video, I talked about how you don't have to love your work. Everything that we make doesn't have to be museum ready, museum quality, saleable, ready to go up in someone's wall. Like, this is in my sketchbook, people. What are we doing? Why are we why are we being so precious? And yeah, you can see my reference. I thought it would be good for you to see from the side the setup that I have. My iPad is usually in front of me. I start with my reference in situations like this where I have a landscape, which is not something I do most of the time. I'm doing cute animals. When I have a cute animal, I riff. I don't really need the reference picture once I have done the sketch, unless I need to just refer back to it quickly for my values. But with something like this where color was a big issue, not just values, I had it up the whole time. But often I'll be playing a YouTube video, I'll be listening to a podcast and playing it on there. And that's kind of where my iPad lives when I'm painting, with my water off to the side with my brushes and my little rag. So I don't know why we put so much pressure on ourselves in our sketchbooks. I know we do it because I know I do it and I've always done it, but I don't really know why. It's not really super rational. It's a stinking sketchbook. It's supposed to be for practice, and it's completely up to you if you decide you want to show it to people. You don't have to. And I understand I get sad if I turn to a page and I don't love looking at that page. It feels like I've, quote, messed up my whole sketchbook. But I also understand intellectually that that is kind of silly, because my sketchbook, for me, should be for practice. I'm not actually making the sketchbook to like apply to CalArts or something. You know what I mean? There are situations where your sketchbook does kind of have to be really good and every page should be somewhat enjoyable to look at. But for me, oh, do you see what I mean by the loaded brush and the deliciousness of this close-up? I can't with this paint. It's so much fun to spread around. But like, it's just for you. You don't necessarily have a YouTube channel. And honestly, even if you do, like me, you don't have to post every single thing that you paint. You can skip something. I have things in my sketchbook that you won't see until I do my sketchbook tour, because it's just quick and little, or it's just goofing off, or it's not enough for a video. It doesn't have a point. It doesn't have a theme. It's not giving you anything new or interesting. And so I just know in my head, oh, look at this loaded brush. I know in my head, you're gonna see it when I get to my sketchbook tour. But every page doesn't have to be a 10-minute video worthy situation. So even with this, I don't think that this is, the best I could do. I don't think that this is perfection in my sketchbook, but it is darn fun to look at, especially because I will remember this feeling of having this much paint on my brush. I never do this. I never load my brush up like this, because I don't want to waste paint. And I'm really trying to just break that. And I think there's something magical about having done all of those art supply hauls that I finally feel like safe and secure that I have enough art supplies and I won't, God forbid, run out. Because honestly, that is a thing that I think sometimes. Enjoy the satisfying tape peel moment. I hope you're enjoying some of these close-up, delicious art moments that I try to save and put in here for you. But, it doesn't have to be perfection. It's not going to be perfection. It doesn't even have to be something you necessarily love looking at. So you cruise by a page in your sketchbook here and there. You turn right on by it because you don't love that page. I definitely have that going on. I just won't make a whole video about it because I wouldn't want to necessarily see a whole video about a sketchbook page that didn't come out well. So I try to keep it to the stuff that's fun to look at, or the stuff that you might learn from, the stuff that you might want to recreate in your sketchbooks, like I did with the YouTubers that I watched while I was still really learning again. But just know, this shouldn't necessarily be a place where we're putting pressure on ourselves. I'm a big fan of using your sketchbook to relax and to giggle and to have fun and to learn and to grow. And it doesn't have to be what you use yours for, but my point is, it's your sketchbook. Do what you want to. And you know what? Sometimes girls just want to have fun, and that's what I did here. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you like this little cute landscape. If you did enjoy the video, remember to leave a like down below. Check if you're subscribed, and if you're not, I would so appreciate it if you would subscribe and become one of my floofy friends here on this channel. Until next time, remember, create something cute, even if it's a landscape.